And he spoke about bhav and all that stuff. So it's so beautiful that how his grace unfolds is that usually I have no idea about anything, and it just unfolds from here. And then later God sends me the explanations. Okay, so this is bhav, or this is. Because when the EDS came, for example, I wasn't even sure what these terms were. I knew, I mean, bhav means feeling, that much we know. But whether it can really be called a samadhi, bhav samadhi like that, whether all these things, but you just have to trust what your heart is telling you and just follow from there. Because if you're scared of looking stupid or, of not sounding intelligent, then you won't allow that flow to happen. Because the heart guides us in this way. God guides us in this way that every guidance is a leap of faith. So his guidance, if you follow, then it has to seem at least a little bit risky somewhere to the mind. Because every guidance, every instruction is a leap of faith. Because we are so used to living in a way of knowing everything here, calculating everything, and then operating from there, having things figured out. Of course, things never work out the way that we thought they will. But in spite of that, at least we seem to have a promise in our head saying that this could turn out this way. But when you follow your heart, there are no guarantees at all. And you don't know whether what outcomes will unfold, none of that. So you just have to trust that faith, that leap of trust is very important. So you must not waste too much time or any time actually figuring out, okay, what next now? Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Because your heart will guide you, it will show you. And he also re-emphasized over and over in the Satsang that the biggest block is self-concern. What did he call it? Swalabh? You get caught in Swalabh or something like that. Or Swaprem or something like that, where it is too much in this self-love, self-concern. Then it blocks us from being able to love God. Because the mind loves to say, but what about me? What about me? What about me? And we don't realize really what is going on here. It's not that you're here. It's not that you're here. This here is just appearing to you. And if you end up taking it too seriously and getting attached, that becomes the core of suffering. That becomes the reason to suffer. You're really more intimately living with God, having a dream of living this life. But this dream can be very compelling. So self-concern becomes about the character who doesn't exist. And we forget the reality of who we are, where we are, what is important, what is true. All this is going to go. All this is going to go. So joking, half joking actually with one child, I said, sometimes it's good to look at this life as a application form. You see, for the next housing. Like Guruji said, that he doesn't want to give up the Brixton house, because those houses then come after great difficulty. People have to wait in waiting list for like 20 years, because his house is a small house, but it has a nice lawn and it's very sweet and things like that. So sometimes we have to wait so much. So it's like the application form will determine the proximity. In real estate, what they say, I'm sure, it's all about location, location, location. So in your next housing also, it's all about location. What's the proximity to his feet? Now, admittedly, we don't know how it works. We don't know how it works. So we don't know what is the criteria, whether it's possible at all for any of us to live at his feet forever after this. But I'm just saying that suppose there was a 0.00001% possibility that the way we live from now onwards gets us to his feet and a possibility to live at his feet forever. And what we have to do is live in his love and his light and his will. Because this much is clear to me. If I don't know how it will play out, that is true, but this much is clear to me that it is not going to help if we go with our selfishness, if we live without love for him, and if we live in the absence of the presence of the light of Atma, if we live in that darkness, this much I know that it will not help. And there's a sense that it will help to live in his love, in his will, in his light. So if there's a minutest chance, that I can live at his holy feet for even, forget about forever, but even for the shortest time, then why will I not risk everything that I have in this life for that? And what is so great here that I'll hold on to and enjoy so much? And if I'm selfish and egotistical, what is so great that's going to happen to this life? So it's not even that we have to give up something so important. But whether we like it or not, whether we realize it or not, our lives are already better than they were when we were fully egotistical. We're already better than what they were. So it's not that you have to give up on something, accept the faults, accept on suffering. And yet it can seem like it is effort. It can seem like it is effort to follow his will, to trust his grace. It can feel like it is effort also sometimes to just be grateful to him for every moment of our existence. It can feel difficult, but we must make the effort. Because we don't know how much lack of gratitude will put us where. Lack of love will put us where. And I'm not saying we must operate out of that fear. Okay, but I'm just saying that out of reverence, out of love. Because for me it is difficult to imagine, if the Christians have the notion of hell, it is difficult for me to imagine anything worse than being separate or living in the notion of separation from him already. You see? So in my eyes, most of us are already living in the worst possible hell. I don't feel that it has to get any worse. So whatever I've been crying about all day, just to see like I know it's all made up. Yeah, not the story, but the production and all that. It's all made up. The actors, they're very sweet with the acting. I know all that. But I'm saying that if a representation, which may be just scratching like the surface 0.1% of how it must have really been to live in his presence, well, to live when he was there, and he is an embodiment of that. You see, who lives in my heart. Just one of the beautiful embodiments of this one. What is that lives within ourselves? What is that? There's so much beauty, so much joy, so much love can happen even upon seeing a picturization of the life of Ram or the life of Krishna or the life of Jesus. We've guided through our chosen also. So any of his lives, and for me it's the same one. It's the same one. And if just a picturization of that can bring so much love and joy to our hearts, he is the one who lives in our heart, and we have a chance to be with him always. And even if I don't have a written contract that's how it's going to play out, what other options are looking so attractive right now? So I'm going to bet whatever is left of this life on him and him alone. There's not so much left. I remember the last 50 years, like sometimes these kids say 50 pa, you're 50, you're going to be 50 next year now, the next birthday you're going to be 50. 50? Where does this 50 go? Doesn't seem like 50 at all. So the next 10, 20, 25, whatever is left, it's go like that. I don't know how it seems to all of you, but at least here, 50. It sounds like half a century has gone. And this is the whole game of Maya. They'll give you something every day. So it'll never make you feel like you're wasting your life. You see? Or it'll say, today you have to invest today at least because this is important. You see? Think about yourself. Think about some nonsense thing which has no effect on anything at all. And it seems like a worthwhile investment to resolve all these non-existent things in our head for just today. We're not going to waste our life. Everybody feels like we're not going to. But every day we do this. Every day, something. And soon the years pass by like this. And it's just good. I was a young boy like this. Then I got into spirituality, slightly younger, but where has all that time gone? Every day I feel like what I'm finding today is so pristine. Who is this one who lives in our heart? What value do we give to that? What love do we give him? What honor, what reverence do we give him? And if you're new to Satsang, then firstly you must answer whether there is such a one. But those of you who can answer yes, there is such a one, then you have more difficult questions to answer. Then why are you allowing the mind to take away time? Aaj kuch, kal kuch aur, parso kuch aur. Every day there will be something. You think the mind will run out of things to trouble you with every day? It won't. Forget 50 years, by 100 years it can go on. It has a list. Have you ever spent a day where the mind said, today you're fine, today I have nothing? No, there's never a day like that. It always has something. Trouble yourself with this. And it doesn't, of course, say trouble yourself with this. It says, but what about this? But what about that? All this what about you? It's just nonsense. So we look back at our life 10 years back and say, what nonsense I used to worry about. What's the nonsense? So imagine that you're 10 years older than you are today. And just look at the nonsense you're worrying about today and just throw it away. Because not for nothing, who is sitting in your heart? And what happens when you worry? You forget about that one. Is it possible that Ramakrishna, Jesus was sitting here and we would still be so much in self-concern? But I'm telling you that it is true. At least prove me wrong. I keep saying prove me wrong or prove me right, but prove me either way. But you can't, because you can't say, is it really that important? Tell me one thing you heard that is more important. Tell me one thing that can be more important than the fact that he lives in your heart. And if it doesn't feel like a fact to you yet, and it didn't feel like a fact to me for many years, while I was searching and met some of my friends from those days, it didn't feel like a fact. It just felt like something I had to believe at that point. But in Satsang, you have all the tools. They've been made available to go from just having a notion of this reality to it becoming a fact. And we must use those tools fully. I don't feel like there'll be anybody in this universe who will want to know the truth of this, but will be left without the tools. Whether the outcome happens or not is His grace, but I think His love and His mercy is at least that much that if someone truly looks for Him, the right tools, the right method is bound to show up. Nobody will be left just like, at this particular point in my life, I wanted to sincerely look for the reality of God, but I was never led to the right path. I don't feel like anyone can make that at all. It's only the mind that keeps doubting and saying, you see, now in today's world is the ulta problem. Like, there's so many, and all seem right. What should I do? Do one, any one. Because that's also a mind trick saying, okay, but this, but then that, but then this, then that. Do one sincerely with full heart. So Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji also explained to me today something which I needed to hear really. So he said, so you know the story, right? So when I started sharing satsang, I was and I still am foolish, naive teacher. So and he said, it came to me one day that why don't I just guide everyone to not believe their next thought? I just came to satsang almost like, who was the one who shouted Eureka? Archimedes. And all you have to do is not believe your next thought and you'll be free. Just don't believe your next thought. Maybe only Chitika from this bunch was there. Where is Chitika? Okay. So, it's okay. So, and it just didn't work. Because I kept saying, don't believe your next thought, don't believe your next thought. So one child who was there were very few Sangha members. This was probably 10 years ago, 9 years ago. She was with me and she was one of the very few ones who used to come. Many days it was just Jaya, Jaya from Spain. So she was with me and she would sit opposite on a dining table. I would be there with my computer. Some of you would join on that Ustream or whatever platform. And she was there. And at one time she had to go back because she says, I have to go back because my brothers are threatening to come and get me otherwise. Yeah. So I said to her, okay, brothers, okay, and are they big? You know, as if they were not big, I would have taken them chance. But she said, yes, they are big, and she was stronger than me already. So, so I said, yes, okay, you can go. So while she was going, so we were saying bye. She was sitting like this. She was holding my feet, and I said to her, just all you have to do is remember one thing. Don't believe your next thought. And she said, like, she hardly knew English well and all of these things. She said to me, that is the one that irritates me the most. I said, what? You heard this continuously every day for 6 months. And I used to have satsang almost every day those days. And now when it is time for you to go, we are saying goodbye. Now you're telling me that is the one that irritates you the most. Why didn't you tell me before? So actually he explained to me in today's satsang that this path is very difficult. The path of negation is very difficult for most. And he gave a beautiful example which just settled it. He said that, so let me take it with all of you. How many times in the last 1 week have you seen the moon?
Seen the moon?
Yeah.
Few times.
No.
2 or 3 times.
Not even once.
Not even once. Most of you will say 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, whatever. Now suppose you had an instruction that to be free, don't look at the moon. Then what would happen?
You'd be okay with it.
You'll be okay?
No, because you
Then
don't
make sure you don't look at the moon.
Mm.
What will happen? And he said ordinarily most people don't look at the moon anyway.
Yeah.
But once you hear instruction, don't look at the moon, then there's a new worry now in your head which is like, I better not look at the moon.
Yeah.
I better not, is this water reflecting the moon? I better not see it, you see. So that becomes the thing. And this is what I saw happen with a lot of children also in satsang, because they started thinking a lot about not believing their thoughts. Thinking and believing thoughts about not believing the thought. And he's absolutely right. So he also said something very interesting today. He said that to empty our mind, in different words, but to empty our mind is difficult for most. And it struck me because I realized that maybe I'm imposing my perspective on everyone. And it came to me to say that those who are living inside the temple already may find things a lot simpler than those who are walking towards the temple. So if I say don't believe your next thought, or just let it go, remain fresh, open and empty, it may not be that easy for everyone to follow, as it seems to be now by His grace, if things are more apparent here. So then he said, what is the other approach? He said that if emptying the mind is difficult for you, and you also said that those who are doing it, very good. You have to have that warrior mindset and just do it, keep at it, go at it. But since it's very rare to be good at it or to resonate with that, what should the rest of us do? He said that instead of trying to empty the mind, you fill it up with God. Like make every narrative about God. You remember when Swamiji was here, when he was leaving? I don't know if you were here, but I told him, okay, you can't remain empty. You can't let go of your stories. You can't let go of your narrative. Do one thing. Change the central character of your narrative to God. Change the one who is central in your story to God. See, and I explained to him in Hindi, I explained to him in Hindi. But that itself, to fill ourselves up with God, you see, to fill our narratives, to fill everything in our life up with God, itself can seem like such a difficult project. And for most of our brothers and sisters in the world to remain just empty without that support may seem even more difficult than that. So it was very useful to hear that perspective. And we must endeavor to really fill our life up with God, make everything about Him. And he said that is a very beautiful part because even the stories are beautiful. So he was talking about the Krishna Leela. It's like there is sweetness in the stories. Okay? So he said something again very beautiful. I mean, he's clearly a sage. I mean, one of the brightest sages, brightest lights that at least I've come across. And what obviously prevented him from becoming famous and well known is like clear lack of charisma. like old anybody's granddad. He's like comes from a community very similar to mine. So you just imagine him being my nana or dada. So he's sitting and talking all of this, and it's very difficult to understand. And all of his mumbles, and he's probably old, and all those things are there. But if you really notice what he's saying, it's stunning. So he said that the beauty of immersing yourself in God's narratives, God's making everything about God, is that not only is there sweetness in it, you see, you taste the sweetness in it, but those narratives also eat up everything else, which I found is really beautiful. And it's a fact that if you listen to things about Jesus' life, of any of the saints' lives, Teresa's life, it's also so stunning about Ram's life, Krishna's life, all of our sages, Ramakrishna, Gyaneshwar, Tukaram, you name it, and there's beauty. Guru Nanak Ji, Meera, there's so much everywhere. You listen to the stories of their lives and you feel elevated. You feel so beautiful. And in that elevation, you let go of that swalabha, whatever it was, self-concern and self-interest and self-will. Like swad, but he used a word which is interesting. Supreme or something like that. So one tip I gave some of you the other day, maybe in the park when we were talking, but when you approach a sage, like even now, he left his body in 1971. It's how many years? 50 something, 54 years or something. Since then, 53 years since then. But when you listen to someone like that, you cannot approach it from a perspective of already knowing something. You must listen to it head bowed down as a beginner on the path. And that is always my approach. And I feel like that helps me grow and deepen so much. Because if I take on a perspective of knowing something, of being a master, and then sharing satsang for so many years, and so many people have come to me, and all of that nonsense, useless thing which doesn't mean anything. If you approach anything from that perspective of already knowing anything, then you can't meet these sages. That's impossible. You must approach them as blank slate. Tabula rasa. Without that tabula rasa, you can't meet anyone. You can't really meet sage, philosopher, anyone who's really gone deep into anything. See, because the mind is just trying to put everything in the mold of the constructs that you already have. He's very lazy. He doesn't want to create new molds. Like, okay, already have this mold. So it's like this. If you're really subtle about this thing, you'll notice that you're trying to force it. So it's like this only. You see, this, because you understand. And it seems like too much effort to let go of previous understanding and meet new understanding. So we just try to make everything fit into our mold. You must not do that. You must have this ability to become fresh, to become empty, and keep our pride aside. Because if we approach it with pride, then we'll be looking for how he is saying the wrong thing. But my Guruji says like that. See, it can't be like this because I know this. In this Upanishad, it said like this. Then you can't meet a sage. And who are you making happy with all of that? Your own pride. So when I meet like a sage like this one, or Teresa, for example, and these are the two most recent ones, just I don't know anything. I'm starting off as a beginner. Just help me that this God has sent you some grace. Please help me, God, so I can fathom, so I can assimilate what the sage is trying to share. It's very important. So when you get into these constructs, it will stop growing, it will stop flowering. I don't know if some of you find it weird, because sometimes I'm just like, wow, did you hear this? Wow, so beautiful. And some of you may say, why am I going to this guy? And he's saying, wow, to such a simple thing. This though even I knew before only. Is he the right teacher for me? I don't know, maybe probably I'm not. But I'm just like, because it just touches me somewhere that we can be in the company of a sage who left the body 50 years ago, and we can enjoy his satsang and we can learn so much in a single day. Yeah. What is the option 2 for this day? So my whole day went in satsang like this and watching Ramayana.
This one appreciated.
Yeah. And what is option 2? Sometimes I just feel like I'm spamming all the YouTube and stuff. It's not like looking at this saying, what is there in this to share? So, but what could have been option 2? I could have picked up something to worry about. I could have picked up some nonsense thing about something. What a waste that would have been.
That yesterday when he said that this life has been given to you so that you can recognize God's presence. We shared it because I was feeling depressed and the amount of times I wanted to quit. I said, but I never thought of it like that this life was given to me to find God and for no other reason. I mean, it's just that memory of being depressed and wanting to leave, it just came back so strongly, you know. So why I never thought that this was given to me for this reason and no other reason. And then suddenly it, it, it became, I mean, I stopped being depressed, but I was back to the depression again today. Because of the constructs, Father. So what is Krishna, what is Shiva, and all of these constructs is just going crazy again.
He said something very beautiful. He said, जो लोग भगवान में अंतर करते हैं वो बेवकूफ.
So yeah, because it's all there, and you told me this also.
Let me translate for those who make differentiation, who make distinctions between aspects or different so-called gods. They are stupid. Like, let's not be stupid. So let's say we will drop all this nonsense of it's whether it's Jesus for me or it's Ram for me or it's Krishna. Whoever it is, go to God. Don't waste time on all this nonsense.
You know, it came like don't believe your next one.
So just follow this simple instruction that I have, which is there's a shining light in your heart. Okay? That light is shining. Today we heard that the meaning of the word Ram is that shining light. I was stunned when I heard that, because all the prayers, all my blessings to all of you have always been to find that light of spirit within, light of Atma within. That is literally the meaning of the word Ram. And I'm surprised I never knew that, and I don't know if all of you did, but it's so beautiful. I'm telling you that my thing is God changes the past based on what is best for us. Yes. Because we wanted to emphasize on this light of Atma so much, he said, okay, Ram means that. Because how come I never heard that before?
Eat something. I eat it. Really? No, it's very actually.
So, this light in your heart, just make sure that you retain, or it's shining for you. It's not becoming dim, it's not becoming hidden. That's all. And I'm well aware it's one of those instructions, just like don't believe your next thought. I'll just say that's all, but it may not seem like that in execution. But keep your intention at least that. Otherwise, it'll just get overtaken by self-concern over and over again.
I start to visualize it, Father.
Huh?
I start to visualize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ask yourself, in whose light is that visual seen? Firstly, it's very good that you notice the visualization. Most may not realize, so that's why I keep clarifying that it's not really a perceivable light. Not in the way that this light is perceivable. It's just a deep sense in your heart of that light. It's like an intuitive insight. But okay, even use that. Maybe even use that. Find out in whose light are you perceiving that light. Right.
So sweet, Father. Krishna is over.
Yeah.
Yes, when I don't perceive the light, then I pray to God, and I would like to have an idol.
You would like to have
an idol or something.
An idol.
And,
an image.
Yes, an image. Yes, an image. And that's why in the prayer the chapter, because that is what mostly represents something without form or that light. But it makes it a little bit like.
What is the aspect of God or the name of God that you love the most?
I can't find that.
This God?
Yes, just God. Because if I think it in Christian way, then there is coming up this man sitting judging, this childhood education comes up, and this rebellion also. So when I look at Krishna, yes, it's young Krishna like a baby. That this love comes up. But there is not one. I could say, okay. Or we went to this Hanuman place there. I could feel this devotion, and I was so attracted. And so I'm changing. I would like to have one God or one image I could really put here in my heart.
Who is that Swamiji who died in 71?
He's the one who started the Gita Press. You know Gita Press?
Yeah.
Very
What is
famous
his name?
Hanuman Prasad Poddar. He's very, so he said, somebody came to him and said, have you got Bhagavad Prapti? Did you meet God basically? So he said that it's best for me to keep quiet this question. Okay, but why would you keep quiet? So he says, if I said yes to you, you will start doubting, saying, in those days, he's from a Banya family where it doesn't look like he's found God, so that doubt will come. Okay? So, but if I said no to you, then you say, oh, he's just being humble. You see? So either way, you're going to end up doubting, and I don't want to create any more, vrittis in your chitta to create any more doubt within you. So I'm just going to keep quiet. Very, very good. First video that attracted me is something that Radha sent to me, in which he's saying that he was talking about Mahatmas, like sages. So he said, these Mahatmas, they're like this, but I know you. When I say like this, you will say, I am one Mahatma. But you don't know, all of you don't know anything about me. I'm far from it. No, what did he say? He's like, I'm nowhere near a Mahatma. I have so many foolish, stupid quirks, all this stuff, which I found very refreshing. Because we live in a world today where every teacher is just like, Baba. Like police Baba, we need to English. So I spoke to this Babaji, he used to be in the police. So in Rishikesh, and for many years he runs an ashram there. So I just asked him, did you organize for the Pandit or did some other Babaji send him? And I just wanted to say thank you if it is you. So he just like looked at me and said, Baba. So then we were just like imagining the soundtrack of his movie. Just like, Baba, Baba, Baba. So we're in this world where this kind of humility is completely missing. Everybody's like, oh, They've probably forgotten that it doesn't matter how we look to the world. It doesn't matter how we look to each other, how we look to the world. The only thing that is important is how we look to God. Because we can't hide anything from Him. Not the slightest thing is hidden from Him. So we पूरी world को impress करके कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. Make no difference. Like the 7.5 billion people of the world, everybody is impressed with you. They think that you're God walking on this earth. Make no difference. Because this dream is going to get over soon. All that matters is Are you connected with Him in your heart? Can you feel His light? Can you feel His love?
Father, at the start of the satsang, he spoke about Tyag. Can you see that?
So beautiful. Tyag. He made this beautiful point that the way it's very difficult in the world to convince anyone that you love them. Like, even after so many years in satsang, many of you will still in your bad days doubt whether I love you. So it's very, very difficult. But he said, what is the best way to communicate your love for someone? Just sacrifice. Just sacrifice something that is valuable to you, make it valuable to them. Then love will come. So he says that sacrifice leads to love, and that love leads to joy. Tyag, Prem, Ananda. But we don't do that, including me. I'm just expecting everyone to sacrifice for me. We are hoping, if you love me, you would do this for me. But we have to be the one. We have to lead the way. This is the surefire way to love is through sacrifice.
Yeah. Said if 2 fruits have come to your house or something, then give the nicer one to your brother's child and feel the same.
I feel most of us are okay. I feel like most of us are good because we've all tasted like if you compare the joy of, like suppose you got something new, and some friend of yours or some sibling or something really loves that. Okay, then you say to them, okay, you take it or you try it out, you keep it for a few days. And you feel so much happier having done that than having just tasted it for yourself or kept it for yourself. This experience I've noticed since I was very young. There's much more joy in letting your friends play with something, letting the others around you enjoy something. To see the joy on their faces gives you much more joy than you could get by tasting it for yourself or keeping it for yourself.
Grandmother had a very colloquial way of saying this in Punjabi. She would say, "One khai, khand khai." If you share and eat, then you need sugar. And kalla khai, the one who eats alone eats,
No.
Yeah, very bad stuff. Like sorrow.
It's all these small things. Otherwise, we can talk all big things and write a treatise about Advaita Vedanta philosophy. But if we don't have love and kindness and compassion in our lives, there's no point to all of that.
Compassion is a tough one.
Compassion. It's very important. But of love without compassion. So what blocks us? It blocks us only these stupid thoughts. What's right, what's fair, what's good. Basically, what about me?
And when it comes to work, rather, there's so much conditioning.
Yes, of course.
Someone will take you for a ride, whatever.
Let them. Just follow your heart. If your heart says stop them, it's fine, you see. But if your heart is silent, we've spoken about this often, where I just feel like if somebody wants to exploit me, exploit me fully. What is it you think? be unfair with me. What will you take? This is the worry. No? Somebody will be unfair. What will you take? Some little money, okay, take. Some clothes I have in my cupboard, take. I have a bed, take. What else? What is that exploitation? Can you take away God? Who can take it? This body is here, take it, okay, gone. What else? Nothing of value. Can you take away the love that is felt here? No. Can you take away God's light? No. It's like children fighting about toys. It's meaningless, valueless. In the past, I've had all kinds of issues and things like that, where kids have come and told me, but can't you see that boy is taking you for a ride? He's taking you for a ride. I said, I love going on rides. What ride will anyone take me? What do I have so much that somebody wants? Don't waste your life on these things. This is how Maya works. Every day something. Oh, opposite. This one stole something from you. This one took some. This one didn't return your money. This one is so ungrateful. This one is like that. This one is like this. What will we get out of all that? And what will we resolve? Nothing of value can be taken from you. That's correct. What is the value which is going in all of this is time. Because we don't know what circumstances our next life will have. Whether we'll ever turn to God, after how many lifetimes we may turn. When will we get a guru? When will we get guidance to him? We don't know any of those things. How many of our brothers and sisters are even told about the fact that God is a reality that can be discovered in their heart? They've not met anyone who can seriously tell them that. See, everybody says there's Atma within, there's Atma within. But the way they say it, that they're just speaking notionally. But how many of our brothers and sisters in this world truly come across someone who comes and says, come sit, God is here? Very few. And all our time will go in this stuff. And then we don't know when we'll get the chance again. That's why Kabirji said, Avsar Baba Nahi. If a great sage is saying you don't get the opportunity again and again, and he is one of the greatest sages anyone can ever come across, why would he be lying to us? So easy to say, yes, he must be just trying to scare us into it. But they're just presuming that a great sage would lie. Can you imagine? Those who abhor lies, fakeness, is telling us a lie, open-facedly saying that you will not get this opportunity again and again. People doubt Jesus. The one who is telling you that to lie is a sin, he himself is going on lying. I am before Abraham, I am. You see, he's lying. This is stupidity. This is just stupidity. The one who teaches us morality, that one himself is lying, is the presumption we make. So when Kabirji says, don't waste today, don't waste now for tomorrow, he says this opportunity won't come again and again, or he says this Maya is a Mahathavini, is a con artist. We must take it seriously, we must take it literally. At my father-in-law's funeral, the Ragis in the Gurdwara, they played this Avsar Barbani on, and I was finding it so ironical. So we must not wait for it to be played at our funeral. And then for the others to learn from that. Our life should become an example of how to use that opportunity, not how to waste an opportunity. Otherwise, let's all presume that Kabirji was lying and we'll keep it.
What is this hope that money has, Swami? Making more, using more, using less.
Time, no problem. So one man came and said to Jesus, I really want to just follow your father, master, teacher, whatever he said, and just show me the way. So he said, okay, go sell all your possessions or give up all your possessions, all your money and come then follow me. This man did not come back. It's an age-old problem. People have refused to join the Son of God for money. तो कुछ छोटे मोटे टीचर.
True story she wrote, in Teresa, that so first she says, supposing you were a man who had no children or anyone, and you lost all your money, and then you would still not come because you would say that no, I was going to give it in charity. And he says, you really lack freedom of spirit. And she said a prayer, really. And the second one, she said that supposing you had everything, you even had a house and everything, and somebody offered you more, and then you started running after that more, even though you didn't need it, and you spent all your time would go in that, you will not come to God's mansion. I said, this is really the condition we have. I mean, it's just some excuse or the other you're going to make. And then she said there was that story of the rich man who he offered, God offered, and he didn't come. I mean, I know the story.
Same man, the rich man.
No, but that Nicodemus also, he didn't go. He was scared.
He was more. It was more about position in society and respect.
And then he got stuck with his wife. He said, I'm old. I don't know what she said to him. But I want to live with my grandchildren and then.
Every form of attachment. But I'm telling you, even in a life like that, full of work and things like this, God creates a space for him. He creates a space. If our intention is to be with him, nothing gets in the way. So don't feel that money stops you. What you really want, if you want only him, he'll make the opposite. Start with today. Don't disconnect from your heart. If you notice that you have, return back. The problem is, not only are we stupid then, we actually presuming stupidity on God's part also. You see? So it is like, but I was supposed to pray to Shiva, but I ended up praying to Krishna. So the money will not be in the right account. You see? Because God is like, just a bank teller who doesn't know. You have to tell him the right account.
Pulling our legs, no. Perfect.
No, but if you really look at it, we are presuming that God doesn't know what our intention is. So we just like, that's why the Ananta-Part story, and it's an old story that I think even my Dada used to tell me about the one who instead of Ram got into so much pain and started just saying Mara, 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 and that God took to be Ram. So he's giving us more benefit of doubt rather than just saying, okay, you were meant to pray to Krishna, you're praying to Shiva. You think God is sitting there doing that? How dare you say Jesus and Ram in the same prayer? You think God is sitting there saying, and where this conditioning comes from, all this conditioning comes from these kind of pundits who wanted power and wanted to be seen as important. So then they became these like, you can't do like that, you should do like that. We can meet the words of any true sage, not to be said about all this grammar and pronunciation and all that. It's good to have. I mean, it shows our diligence, but the method is not at all comparable to the intention. Keep your intention for God. The methods, God knows. If you look at it, really, it's so ludicrous. Huh? That I wanted to pray to Shiva, but actually I ended up saying Shiv, 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 Shiv. I forgot the A. So then I will not find a place at Shiva's feet because I didn't say Shiva. I said only Shiv, Shiv.
That's not saying.
But that's what we do. What does it make a difference whether we say Krishna or Ram or Jesus or Allah?
Shiva.
Okay, so this is how the mind makes us lose time.
Lose time and create guilt.
Yeah. And then if you do it for like 3 days, then everybody will start becoming proud of it. I am to chanting Ram. You should try it, you're still stuck on Krishna, you should do Ram. It takes us 3 minutes to become proud of something. No, it is true that some places carry a certain vibration, a sort of current. It's not mandatory. You have to follow your heart.